Wood River Health is my home for health.
Wood River Health is a one-stop shop for primary medical care, dental care, behavioral health, and social services. We care for the members of our community because they are our community. I'm Allison Croak, President and CEO of Wood River Health. Since 1976, our health center has provided high-quality, affordable health care to residents of Rhode Island and southeastern Connecticut. We are your neighborhood health center. Let us be your home for health.
So.
Okay, man, Ron, you're right. You've got this down pat, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. This is Sal Moreno Sports Report with my sidekick Ron Spizzato and our chief cook and bottle washer standing right in front of us.
Oh yeah.
All right, Ben. Good morning.
Morning, Sal.
Anyway, this is quite an unusual setup we've got here today, isn't it, Ron?
Nice casual setting, though.
Yeah,
Not
I
bad.
like it. I like it. It's just beautiful. God, look at the nice floors. And
Yeah.
nice carpet. And, we're into what did he say? Ben said we're 15 minutes into it, but we just want to welcome all of our listeners and people who I notified on Facebook that we would be broadcasting live from our studio. And just so happens, when things go awry in this business, you just make it happen. That's all. And it's one of the things that Ken told me back in the day, that you just make it. You just go on and you make do of it. And that's what we're doing today. We're making do of it, just like you are, Ron. With some of, your games have been rained out, washed out.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on. We'll start with baseball first. High school baseball.
We got a busy day today. We got JV playing home at 2 p.m. versus South Kingston, and then we got varsity playing home tonight after the JV 6 p.m. versus Charahoe. Nice rivalry game.
6 o'clock, right?
Yep, 6 p.m. Hopefully the field's good by the afternoon, and we'll be ready to go. Should be a great night. I know Charahoe always comes out ready to play, and especially being so close to them, and they always want to beat us. We always want to beat them. So no matter what, I know it's going to be a good game, going to be tough, and be a challenge. And we're just happy to be back playing again. It feels like we haven't played in forever. We've probably had 8 days off or so since we played Fitch on about a week. Yeah, 7 days. We had a full week off without playing. Pitchers are rested. That's great. Being hot though, win for 9 in a row, you want to keep playing. So hopefully this 7-day break doesn't hurt us. But it's not like we were crushing the ball offensively anyway. We were winning games with 4 or 5 hits those last few. It's been the pitching that's really been coming through for us, and the timely hitting. You don't have to have 10 or 12 hits a game as long as you're getting those important timely hitting with runners in scoring position. 4 or 5 hits sometimes will do it. So we're just excited to play again. Then it's going to ramp up because we got today, we got Monday versus South Kingston, who's in second place, Division I, and then Smithfield, who's right in the mix, right behind us in the playoff hunt, and then we have a little bit of a break until the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Finish out the season with South Kingston, Bishop Hendricken, and Stonington is the following week.
Isn't that something? That's great.
Yeah.
Now, are those home? Can you give us
the
folks out there?
Monday is our last home game of the regular season. We got South Kingston on Monday. All the other 5 games are home, so a lot of chances for people to come see us and watch us play as we start the playoffs in a couple of weeks. And it's a great feeling that there's a very good chance we're already in the playoffs. But we've been playing really well, and we want to keep that going. We want to be playing our best baseball at the end of next week and bring it into the playoffs.
I caught the I caught the last game, which seemed like it was
Fitch. I know, it seems so long ago.
I got there around the second or third inning, and I don't think Fitch realized how good you guys were, and Fitch was a very good team as well, Ron. They gave you some trouble, but you guys were resilient.
Yeah, it's a 7-inning game, and whether you do it in the 6th or 7th to take the lead, or if it's early in the in the game, and it doesn't really matter. Sometimes we come out hot, sometimes we don't, but our players understand it's a full 7-inning game, and sometimes we're a little slow starting offensively, but like I said, the pitching's been consistent all season long, and no one gets nervous, no one panics. And, if we have to win it in the 7th, we'll win in the 7th, just like we did against NFA up at Dodge Stadium with Jack Severini having that go-ahead RBI. Came up huge, 2 big hits that game, clutch. And so did freshman Kevin Saglio, also had 2 big hits.
Yeah.
One of them coming in that top of the 7th, that CNI single through second base there. So we have different guys kind of being the hero every game, it seems like. And I love seeing a full team effort, everybody pitching in, and it's an exciting team to watch. Who knows what can happen in the playoffs, and we're looking to make a run. And like I said before, we're just looking to stay hot. Really, we've been hot about 9 in a row, but we want to play our best baseball coming playoff time. We don't want to be in a slump. We don't want to have any question marks. We want to make sure we're going full steam ahead in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, going back to where this seemed like it all started, was a Friday night game heard right here on 321 Media. Ken Collins and his grandson, Dan LaBelle, broadcast that game right from the 321 over at Dodge Stadium.
Yeah,
and I figured, heck, the Fitch game would just be an afterthought, But Fitch was not anything that was not a team to really be taking any advantage. They were a good solid ball club. The Fitch.
They always are, and they've had some really good teams in the past 4 or 5 years. A little young this year, but they're still very solid in the in the ECC, and with Stonington also playing really well. I think they're 13-4. Would be great to finish out the season on senior night with a win there, and we'd be 4-0 against ECC teams. I was joking with our coaches, if we win that one and end up 4-0, they should give us the ECC regular season championship there.
Oh boy, oh yeah, that would be something. Of course, I don't think Wesley's Bob Cahoon would like that too much.
No,
but you don't take anything for granted in this.
No,
especially, and I know you mentioned it. We have talked about this, and I wasn't at the last Charahoe game, but it was on 321 Media, and it started out to be a real humdinger. It looked like it was just, Charahoe was going to, hang you out to dry, but you guys come back in the third, fourth inning?
Yeah, it was I know it was starting to get to we scored early, I think 1 or something like that, and then they played. They had a couple nice hits. I think a walk here and there, and it was definitely a close game for the first 4 or 5 innings. Their pitcher Sumner there started to tire a little bit. Got a couple more runs off of him in the 5th, and then we just kind of piled it on once their bullpen kind of had to take over there, because they do have very good top end pitching with Carpenter and Sumner. Could face Carpenter tonight. You never know. I know he came in the 7th inning. They lost a tough one to St. Raphael a couple days ago before the rain there. So he is eligible to pitch. So that'd be a great test for us. He's a URI commit. So anytime facing a Division I pitcher, whether Charahoe's Division II team, but they're a very good Division II team. They're in 4th place, I think, right now in the RPI standings. So it's going to be a tough game. It's not a team to be taken lightly.
They're not in Division I, though, correct?
No, but it counts though to the playoffs because of the points there.
Correct.
But they're doing well though. They're doing well in Division II. I know they just lost. They're in 4th or 5th place, and Division II is very close this year. You got North Providence up in 1st place right now.
There's another good team.
Yeah, but you got Burrville, who
there's another good team.
Burrville has a lot of athletes that play other sports. They might not. Baseball's not their first sport for some of these guys. I know there's a bunch of football players on that team. Like you got Logan Gelinas there, who's the quarterback. he didn't play baseball last year because we played Burrillville the last few years and he wasn't there, but he came back to play this year, his senior year. He probably
isn't that incredible? How does that work?
I know, because he's a great athlete. He definitely must, because you can't just not play baseball at all and then pick it up your senior year. I'm sure he played all through Little League. He probably played early in his career. Probably then he just kind of decided that, let me focus more on football and basketball. Let me take the spring off and lift weights. And because I was a player just like him, not a quarterback, but a running back who ended up. I played football, basketball, and baseball my freshman year. Realized basketball probably wasn't my my top two sports there. I was really the back end of the roster. I would get in when the game was up, or when it was not in question anymore in basketball. So I started taking the winters off. That I only played my freshman year because I wanted to lift and get ready for baseball and then lift for football as well. So Logan, his senior year, he probably decided, some of his best friends are playing baseball. Let me play again, and they're having a great year. I think they're in third in the RPI. They're doing pretty well. And they had a big upset of North Providence first place team the other day.
Yeah, North Providence was on a roll, and all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom. And like I tried to explain to the folks out there, even though you're in Division I and you're hitting the ground running, you had some good last 2-3 weeks. Don't ever, as you know this, no one knows it better than you. Don't ever take Charahoe for granted when they're playing Westerly.
Yep.
Ever. They're like Burrillville and Westerly. Charahoe loves to play against Westerly. They love to beat Westerly. They're a team that they come from the sticks, and that's what they like to think that other teams are thinking about them. They're not really from the sticks, but they play hard. They come after you. They play good defense. They very seldom will walk guys. And tonight is a night for the Westerly fans to get up there and really cheer their team on, because they're going to they're going to see a heck of a game tonight.
Yep.
Believe me, that's good. Who you got going pitching tonight?
So we got Tom Fiore pitching tonight, and we'll have Zach Miner close it out if need be. So we're in pretty good shape here with the rain the other day. The Smithfield game got canceled. It was going to be Chase Collins pitching today, but how the next week looks for pitching and all that, we need we had to go with Tom today, which is fine. He's been doing great. He pitched amazing against who did he beat the other day? He beat Fitch. Yep, yeah, beat Fitch. So he's actually pitching 2 games in a row here with a nice full week off, and then Monday and Tuesday on a lot of rest, 8-9 days rest, is Mike and Mike and Chase. So our pitching's rested, and we're looking to stay hot and continue what we got going here. Our team's playing with a lot of confidence, and we feel that we taste that victory in Division I, and we know we can hang with all these teams, and we're doing very well, and nobody wants to lose a game. So we're trying to win as many as possible and just keep this going for the kids and parents and the fans. And like I said, we want to make a nice run in Division I and surprise some people for our first season here in Division I.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and we're gonna have you run down that lineup again for the next week and a half. But I just want to let everybody know that there's some consternation in the Red Sox house with Devers not quite looking like he's the team player right now. It's a little bit difficult to understand. I mean, it's whether you're Yankees or Red Sox, you don't usually tolerate Devers airs out beef over position change. So that's USA Today, but that's also in the Providence Journal.
Yeah, because he's been DHing? He DHs now, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, he doesn't like that.
Yeah, and I know they're he wants a replacement first baseman there. I know the players obviously want to win and get the best players possible, and the management, it's just the way they run it, and the GMs, and it can be a tough business when you're dealing with professional athletes and multi-million-dollar contracts that are making more money than you, and and GMs have a lot to worry about. The owners have a lot to worry about, more than it'd be nice if they all just wanted to win and that was their main goal. But obviously, they need to sell tickets, and even to make money, they need, there's a lot to it. So it looks like the Red Sox have a little argument going on between between the players and the management there.
Yeah, it looks like it. And on the other side of the on the other side, you've got NBA basketball, which I'm not crazy about. But listen,
at least it's the playoffs. Yeah, the regular season's almost unwatchable.
Yeah, I mean, right. I think that no one expected the Celtics to kind of lose 2 in a row to the Knicks. Although the Knicks are not a bad team, I think that on any given night, but that's in baseball mostly. But geez, I never thought that that the Knicks would beat them 2 in a row. Yeah. Now you've got the game today. The Celtics have got to pick it up. They're playing at 3:30, and it'll be on national television. I think it's on ABC. Pretty sure it is. It'll be on at 3:30, and they'll be playing at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah,
and it's my understanding that that there's quite a few Rhode Island, Massachusetts guys and gals will be on that train, and they're taking that midnight train to Madison Square Garden. And they'll be it's not really a midnight train. It's a game starts at 3:30, but a lot of them are probably a lot of Wesley guys have probably got that 7 o'clock train that left out of the Wesley train station. Left about 7:05,
yeah.
And they'll be at Madison Square Garden around. Let's see, how does that work? Let's see, they're going to be there around about 10:45, and of course they want to get there for lunch, and they'll be carousing around and scalping tickets, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, getting back to your team, Ron, your baseball team, because we'll talk a little bit about football too, because we want to do that too. The baseball team this year not only has done well, they've come through in situations that a lot of times they hadn't done in the past, and I don't know what it is, but your guys have shown that they don't get upset very easily. They don't get nervous. They don't get down on themselves. They don't really get flustered, whereas I've played on some teams, and I've not necessarily. It's not necessarily a good thing. You get down or you get upset, and the next thing you know, you're the team that was 10-2 is now having a tough time. But your guys seem to have kind of given it push that aside, and I think the Wesley guy, the Wesley fan is not used to seeing this kind of baseball. I'd like you to just kind of put your finger on what's going on with these kids nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And no one seems to really understand how good these kids are playing.
Yeah, and when you're talking about not getting flustered or nervous or panicking, kind of staying the even keel the whole game. Some of the things we preach definitely early in the season and kind of remind the players throughout the season. We talk about body language. It doesn't matter if if pitchers, everybody's eyes on you. It doesn't matter if you give up 5 hits in a row. You can't show the other team that you're down, that you're weak. Showing weakness on their demeanor and their body language, you shouldn't be able to tell the score. That's what I tell them all the time. It doesn't matter if we're up 10-0, down 10-0, 1-1 game. Our mannerisms, our body language should all be the same, and also being mentally tough. That's another thing that I talk about with my players, especially early in the season. About being able to overcome adversity, and things might not go right for you, but you got to get through it. You got to stay mentally tough. You can't let it bother you. You got to just put everything on the back burner and just keep going forward. And that's football and baseball. Football is obviously a little more emotional. You got to have a more reeled in kind of emotions, because if you have too many emotions in football, it's not going to work out for you either. You got to be able to corral those emotions and make it positive for you. But for baseball, and I also let our guys be themselves too. Some could say there's a little less discipline than some coaches. Normally some older coaches or old school coaching. But we do have discipline, and I'm able to allow the players to be themselves. You want them to be able to be free to feel like they're they're themselves, doing their regular routines, whatever works for them to get ready for the game. So I let our players, a lot of personalities on the team, all different types of personalities, all different types of players. Each and every one of them gets ready for a game differently. Some are quiet, some are louder, some like to do other routines, and baseball is a game of a lot of routines. The players, especially you can see in the major leagues, they all have their routine that they do. And I let the players be who they are, as long as they're following the team rules and they're ready to play. I'm very laid back coach, as long as they're doing their job and things are getting done, and I don't bother them.
I think they take their cue from the coach. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
They're taking their cue from the coach. I was up the ball field the other day because I go up there and ride around. It's just my the way I like to do business.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of kids up there, and I think one of the coaches was it looked like a major league. It wasn't a major leaguer, but it was a kid. It was a kid that was on your team. He was just hit one ball right after another. Was it maybe Tuesday or Wednesday? You guys go up there and do stuff like that?
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of them were they on their own. Like, they probably did even more. So our practice was see, Tuesday. I'm trying to see, was the weather all right that day? Yeah. So we practiced. We practiced 3 to 4:30 or so. Once we in the middle of the season, every now and then we'll have a longer practice, but an hour and a half mid-season, getting the fielding in and going over a few things, and then getting your hitting in. It's probably the football coach in me, because I know baseball can be a lot of standing around, and I don't like being a football coach. When you're having a practice, you don't want people standing around much. You want to be efficient. And I kind of bring that to, baseball as well. We don't need to be out there for 2.5 hours. It's like an hour and a half practice once the season gets going. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of my guys wanted to get a little extra hitting in, and that's what it's all about too. The players can't just the bare minimum is what we should be doing as a team. And then you have to, take some pride in your own game as a player, and better yourself as well, and do things on your own, and have a good work ethic. Because if you're only practicing when the team is practicing, you'll probably be an average team. But if you're working on your game on your own in the off season, doing extra hours in season, extra swings off the tee, it's just going to make you a better player. And that's what we look forward to. And, I share a lot of my going to football for a second. A lot of guys doing off season work, like, Landon getting his work in with his, QB coach, and, going through drills with them and lifting. He's doing track, same thing. Damon Uva, going to a couple different showcases and camps, and he's a leader in the weight room, and you're seeing great gains. And without that, you're just going to be an average team. But when you have players that go the extra mile and work hard in the off season and want to better themselves, and they don't have to be pushed by a coach, that's when you have great teams. You shouldn't have if the coach is having to push you to get your work in and to be in shape, and it's going to be an uphill battle. So you need those leaders that take the reins and do the things on their own.
It was either a coach or a father with multiple pieces of equipment. And I find it's so satisfying that they're part of the Wesley High School athletic, and it's just amazing that. We didn't do that I have to be honest with you. We didn't do that. Even George Greer didn't do that. We didn't do that when we were in school.
So the one thing you might have done though too, because I never in the off season for baseball, like we never went and had indoor cages. We never trained late. But we did do a lot of wiffle ball, a lot of home run derby. A ton of tackle football, killing each
Oh yeah,
Like I had a football league at my house in my freshman and sophomore year. We had a 4-on-4 football league. So, and it was full tackle. I painted lines on my yard. So even though we weren't having professional training or paid for training where you're going to a facility and doing batting practice and doing everything like in a structured manner, when we were kids, and it was a little different, but we did play on our own, and you kind of got your work in that way. Like my father would bring me down to the men's softball field all the time when I was a little kid. I rarely ever like actually watch the games. There's some home run hitters I used to like to watch. They're always fun. I remember like you had Scotty Gardner and Samaggio in the other room over there. Butler there. He had like Jeff Butler. So I loved watching those home runs. But I would go off with all the kids. We would play home run derby. We would do all types of different games, and that was equivalent to training nowadays. So we were still getting our swings in. It was just a different way.
I take back what I said. We did do a lot of that,
but it wasn't structured with coaches.
Yeah.
So, and that's the difference. You don't see. So if I'm driving by and see some kids out playing, it's great because you don't see that too often. But I do every once in a while, and it makes you feel like, oh, kids are still doing this today. You know what I mean? But yeah, so much of it's like structured, and they go to hitting facilities where there's hitting coaches, and it's more like training style rather than like having fun like we did. So our training, we were having fun, but we just didn't realize it was kind of like training. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, we just played with friends and got our kind of work in that way, and that's why some of the players back then were excellent, and you can imagine what some of the teams and players would have been if they did do this training.
Yeah. That's true.
So because we didn't do it either, and I graduated 2000, and for baseball, we didn't really do anything structured as a team until we started for real in March.
Yeah. So the guy that I mentioned, George Greer, and he was one of the few that would be out there pitching, catching. Hitting, he did that consistently all the time. And the guys, if he could drag a few guys with him, he would. But no, I don't. I guess it's the equipment that's different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's the equipment nowadays that's different.
Yeah.
And I remember George's father pitching to him night after night, day after day. That's. George Greer, yep.
So one story my dad always used to say, they used to play cork ball. They would tape up a cork. So trying to hit that thing, and my dad said it wasn't like they weren't lobbing it in there. It was like real. They would fire it in there. The thing would be curving like crazy. They would tape up the cork, and one end was a little bigger so they could throw curves and all that. So hitting that little thing must have really helped them with hand-eye coordination. So even though they're having fun playing cork ball in the street or in a side field somewhere, they're actually getting a lot of training in that they didn't realize what they were doing. They're just having fun as kids, but playing games like that, playing cork ball and with a stick bat, like a broomstick.
Oh, definitely.
So when you're talking about equipment, that's what we're telling you. The equipment now, you $300 bats. Our pitching machine for our team costs almost $4,000.
Oh.
So
that's unbelievable.
So 50 years ago, you're playing with a broomstick and a taped up cork from a wine bottle, and then that's probably how wiffle ball kind of came about, I'm sure. And then stores started selling like wiffle balls and wiffle bats, and it's kind of great hearing the old stories of what they used to do for fun and equivalent to the training now. When you're talking about the field, if I had to guess, I would guess it was Grayson Simmons' dad, Aaron. And then maybe Tom with them, or they're always doing extra work. And Aaron, obviously if no one knows, he pitched that Brown. So he loves pitching batting practice to his son, and I've seen him there myself taking extra swings. And
Grayson is quite a ball player.
Yeah,
and really turned into a
and he's only a junior. In our 9-game winning streak here is because of he's in the lineup now. So I know we probably talked about this a few weeks back, but he had a hand fracture where he couldn't. We almost thought he was going to be out for the season, and that would have really hurt. And he ended up having a cast for a few weeks and before the season, and he was good to go catching wise, but he couldn't swing yet. So that took some time. And, his first game in the lineup of the season was the East Providence 5-0 loss. Since then we haven't lost. We've won 9 straight since that East Providence loss, and Grayson's a big part of it. I'm pretty sure he could be leading the team in hitting right now. He's really close. Let me check. But yeah, with him in the lineup, we're a totally different team. The first few games, before he started being able to hit, making out the lineup, you're getting there like, oh man, this is a little weak. We got freshmen in there. We're playing sophomores. We're playing freshmen. It's not ideal for Division I to be that young, but we didn't do great. I think we were 2-3 without him in the hitting lineup, and now we're 9-1 with him in the lineup. So Grayson does lead the team in hitting, 370.
That is unbelievable. He's a junior.
Yeah, and so all the top 3 hitters on the team are underclassmen. So we got Grayson Simmons batting 370 with his on base percentage of 526. So I'm big on an on base percentage kind of guy. So but 526 is amazing. Jack Zerberini is only a sophomore. He's batting 362 with a 466 on base percentage. And then third is Tom Fiore, another junior, 325 with a 542 batting on base percentage. So, as a team, we're batting 263. It's Division I. The competition's tougher, but we still have, some great hitters in the lineup putting up good numbers. And the pitching's amazing. Our team ERA is like 1.1, I think it is, which is, an amazing for our pitching staff. Let me see. 1.12 is the team ERA.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
If the only thing that really is preventing us from winning every game is making a few mistakes on defense, and that's the game though. I mean,
I've seen a couple errors last few games. Nothing fatal, but some stuff that you need to work on.
Yeah, definitely. And some of the things with other teams that also like Fitchin late in the game. I think that's how we got our extra run to go up by 2. Kind of a tough pop up in the hole there. Behind first, kind of behind second, the second baseman ran over to try to make the play, and it went off his glove. So other teams, if they're making a couple mistakes too, it kind of offsets yours as long as it's not going to lead to a ton of runs. But if you play those top teams, like even North Kingston made an error that helped us kind of win that game, which is uncharacteristic. They just beat Bishop Hendricken, by the way, 7-2.
They did?
Yeah. So Bishop Hendricken lost 7-2 to North Kingston. So it shows that they're beatable. Like in the standings, we probably didn't really want that because North Kingston, because of that win with the PowerPoints, jumped us for right now. But yeah, you start playing you play those good teams and you're making 1 or 2 errors. It could cost you the game. You could make a base running mistake and it costs you the game. So if the other team's not making any mistakes, you can't make any mistakes, or you're going to lose. So one little thing, especially in Division I, you make one little mistake, it could cost you the game.
Yeah, I can see that, and as a matter of fact, Bill Koch said that he thought that Hendricken was going to be the team, that was going to win it, going to win it. And then now I when I see him next time, I'm going to make sure I remind him of that North Kingston.
Yeah.
Because I was at the North Kingston game. There was a lot of people there that day.
Yeah, North Kingston's a great hitting team. It doesn't, it's a little surprising, but not overly surprising that they beat Hendricken. They're definitely one of the better offensive teams in the state there, and it shows Hendricken can be beaten. They're still in first place by a little bit in those points. Hendricken most likely will end up in first place, but we play him toward the very end, and we're hoping to give him a battle at home, and hopefully we can come out with a win. That'd be amazing win for our program if we can beat Bishop Hendricken. That's kind of the gold standard there.
Yeah.
So that would turn some heads. And
so you're not playing them this week?
Not this week. No,
the following week.
Yeah, this week is today against Charahoe, Monday versus South Kingston away at Old Mountain Field in Wakefield, and then Tuesday is home, a makeup game versus Smithfield. And then we don't play again until the following Monday against South Kingston again at home.
Smithfield is a surprisingly good team.
Yeah,
I know that they have good programs up there. My grandson was played up in that area till he moved to Michigan on me. It wasn't his fault, but There's that could be a loss for you because on his first flag football game, I think he scored like 3 touchdowns.
Oh, nice.
He's only 6 years old.
There you go. Get the youth flag
No,
football.
the Smithfield takes their sports very seriously.
Yeah,
They've got a strong YMCA program. They've got a very good all in all around, whether it's soccer or football or whatever, volleyball. Now volleyball's coming into the what's
they're doing well too.
Yeah.
Because they have so the key is too to get athletes playing from other sports to play volleyball, because if you get some good basketball players from the basketball season, you get some good soccer athletes playing, that's when you start getting good volleyball teams. The one thing that hurt volleyball for a little while is that they moved it from the fall to the spring for boys volleyball. When I was in high school, a lot of it was in the fall. A lot of football players couldn't play, but because they had football in the fall. But a lot of basketball players did it to kind of just get ready for basketball, get in shape a little bit, jump around. Jerry Auth was a very good volleyball player. And then you had a lot of baseball kids back then played volleyball. You had Dan Crowley, George Serra from my age group there.
Yep.
So you had a lot of athletes from other sports playing volleyball, and when you get that, you're going to have good teams. Because there was a stretch there where when it got moved to the spring, basketball guys weren't playing because they just finished basketball and they didn't want to do it. Baseball was in baseball season, obviously, in the spring. So they had a stretch there where it was a little rough for volleyball, but now they're getting basketball players playing. They got very good athletes playing on that team, and they're doing very well. I'm not sure their record, but I see them winning all the time. So,
yeah, right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about football when we come back. We'll take a little break, just a little break, and we'll talk a little football. We'll talk a little bit. Talk a little bit of Red Sox, Yankees, the hated Yankees, who won again last night, believe it or not. And I just want to mention before we go to break, the Triple Crown horse race last week. Sovereignty knocked off. They knocked off the favorite journalism. And Sovereignty decided not to go for the Triple Crown.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So that you won't get to see a Triple Crown winner this year, because the owners and the trainer pulled them out. So that's it. You're gonna see journalistic, and the other favorite are going to be running in the Preakness. Not today. That's be next week.
Yeah.
But we'll talk a little bit of any sports you want to talk about, Ron, because you got a good knowledge. But we got to talk about some football.
Yeah.
And how
with the Kentucky Derby though, every time I'm not a huge horse racing guy. I do go up to Saratoga usually once a year in the summer with some of my friends. But anytime it's muddy, it always reminds me of that Seinfeld episode with Kramer and picking the horse, the mutter. So it always cracks me up when it's muddy and sloppy out there. It always reminds me of the Seinfeld episode.
Well, that was the deal. As soon as they found out there was going to be nothing but rain, everyone looked up and on their sheets last week. I'm talking about. I happened to watch the Derby at the Calabrese Club. Normally I am in Florida at this time, and I don't know what happened. I guess my daughter's going to be coming in the end of August, beginning of September. So she said, "Dad, why don't you just take some time off, and we'll come up and you can come." So I didn't go down this year, and when I usually did, my former wife Debbie usually throws us a Kentucky Derby party with all kinds of good food, and not this year though, Deb. Will maybe next year. We'll see what happens. But anyway, let's take a break and come back. We'll talk. You got a ton of
few minutes. Yeah, if we can figure this out. I'm still not sure how to take a break over there. But
well, Ben is still here.
Is he in there?
Yeah, he's in there. Tell him we're going to take a break, and he's probably listening to us. But anyway, if you can't figure it out, then we'll get Ben to come in.
Yeah, we'll give it a second here.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, I'll keep talking, and I like to talk. So this afternoon should be interesting with the Celtics and the Knicks. I still think the Celtics are going to beat them, but that's my own opinion. You know, you've got Cleveland that they were really the better of the teams. They were better than the Celtics, I thought, and they lost 2 games too. So you never can tell in basketball. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. Like I said, a lot of Boston fans that took that journey over to yeah. You could go. I don't think you have a problem with going in there, unless you want me to. Unless you want me to go in there, I don't mind going in and seeing Ben. Just tell Ben.
You can go in there for a second. I'm not sure what they're doing in there. I don't want to check them out real quick.
Yeah, sure. They run break too probably.
I got to teach us how to do it. No, they had to teach us how to do it. We can go back on that.
Yeah, I don't mind. Ben, do you want us to take a break?
No, we're good.
Are you guys done?
No. All right.
10 minutes.
Put your headset back.
Yeah, we're going. Quick stretch break.
Yeah. There we go. All right. We want to come back, and we said we were going to talk a little bit about high school football.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to talk a little bit of high school football and what the alignment is going to be like, and that kind of basically going to be the.
All right. I will.
Are you basically going to have the same teams this year? Or?
Yeah, the scheduling. All right. So the scheduling for football, it is the same. It's a little.
I know you got the first game of the year is against Situate, Mass.
Yeah. So we early on August 24th we have a scrimmage against North Kingston, and then we get into real games on September 5th versus Situate, Mass. They were Division IV Massachusetts State champions. They're 14-0. That will be a big challenge for us, but we're ready for it. And then we play Ram, Connecticut, out of Hebron, Connecticut. That actually, because we added a 9th game, that one's actually going to not count toward the playoffs. But it'll be a good game to play after the Situate game, because Situate game is going to be a battle. So then we got Ram, and then we get into the Rhode Island teams. I think we got East Providence away. Who else did we play early on there? We got East Providence, Woonsocket.
Wow, you put East Providence, huh?
Yeah, we beat them at home last year, 30-0.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I'm sure they're going to want their revenge when we go play them. But so we got Woonsocket also. We got Burrillville. We got Central. Who's the other? We got Portsmouth. Portsmouth is away this year. So we still got three Rhode Island Division I teams. We got that Massachusetts team who is just as good as any of the Division I teams. They could probably give some of those top Division I teams a battle. So we got 4 very tough games, and we got 4 Division II games, and and then we got that 1 non-league game against Ram, Connecticut. So playing three out of state games this year.
That includes
one of them being home. Yeah, you got Stonington, Ram, and Situate, Mass. So once baseball season's over here in the spring season, because we have a lot of players. We have a lot of players that are playing lacrosse. We got a couple playing. Not too many. We don't have many baseball guys playing football, but a lot of lacrosse kids playing football, and the ones that a lot of guys doing track. So once the spring season's over, We're going to be getting full into football in June there because we can start our summer practices June. I think it's around June 20th, June 18th, around there. So we'll be doing 2 practices a week. You can't use pads or anything. You can use footballs, but it's nothing in shoulder pads, helmets, nothing like that.
When's that stop?
June 18th, I think, is
Okay.
that we can start.
Wow, that's different, right?
We've been able to do that for
you have?
10 years or so now.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that. See, I thought it just started in August.
Yeah, so we're doing that twice a week. We're also doing a passing league. The passing league's normally at New London High School, so we have to figure out. They're getting a new coach though, so once they hire the new coach, I'll figure out what day passing league is on, because we usually play at New London High School, and there's about usually a 12 team passing league there. Almost all Connecticut teams. We're the only Rhode Island team in there. But we get a lot of work in, but by the time we start for real in August, we're looking to kind of be full steam ahead, and all the basics are already in because we're practicing throughout the summer. So we want to be ready to go that first scrimmage against North Kingston and be ready for Scituate, Mass. It's going to be a tough one, and our guys know it's going to be a battle, and it could set the tone for the whole season. We win that game, and this confidence will be sky high. Beating a team like Scituate, Mass. So that's going to be a great game.
Yeah. No Charahoe this year. We'll cross them off the list. You've got now your lacrosse guys. They like to play. Lacrosse guys play football. Let's put it this way. Football guys like to play lacrosse. I have to cross that up a little bit. It's and this year you've got Sam Brimlow, man. There's a ball player for you, and then you've got how about the speedster that there was only a freshman this year.
Dan Cummings. Yeah, he's doing great in track right now. I see him winning long jump competitions, and then Jack Speranza, also our defensive end center.
Jack Speranza right over here. Caleb Williams.
Caleb doing great in lacrosse. So it's great seeing all these football guys excelling in other sports, and multi-sport athletes is definitely promoted in Westerly by all the coaches, and it's great to see my football guys excelling in track, lacrosse, volleyball, baseball, every sport. So it was really and you've got Aiden Marone. I don't know. Does he play football? No.
Michael Jeffersini.
He played his freshman year. I actually heard he might come back and play, but his brother did play. He played his freshman year. He could have, it'd be great to see him out come for football next year. I heard he was thinking about playing, so that would be nice to have him.
There you go.
The more depth we have for football, the more you need. So we usually end the season with like 40 kids on the roster. It'd be nice to get that up to 50. So
yeah, that's good. And I think the more the guys play. Now, baseball is right now is the topic of conversation as far as what's going on. I mean, you've won like 10 in a row now. Or is that 10 in a row? Run
9 in a row right now. Hopefully it'll be 10 tonight.
But if we're going to switch over to football here a little bit, we got to talk about these guys that are coming up, because you had one. We want to see you step up that division. You're going to do well in Division II, but we don't want to see you lose to Burrowville again.
No, and I think this could be our year. They had about 25 seniors last year, so it's finally good to see not a Gelinas at quarterback. So they've had him and his brother the past like 7 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing somebody else under center.
Yeah.
At Burrowville.
Did I tell you the story about me going through security at the? I've got to go through security again in another couple of weeks at the Green Airport. Did I tell you that story?
No. Oh yeah, with Dan's father.
Yeah. He says, "Hey," I told the guy. I said, "Look, this is Italian sausage," and then all of a sudden, this big guy comes over to me and he says, "You mean that's soup? You mean that's soupy?" He says, "Let him go."
Yeah.
the guy
Yeah.
had never heard of Soupy
Yeah,
before.
the Wesley
The-
delicacy.
Yeah, it was great. It was because I, with all of the metal in my body, hip, and I got another piece of equipment. There's 3 pieces I've got, so I've got it. They don't like me sometimes, the machines, so I have to be careful going through. Anyway, listen, what do you got? What do you got going? I know you got
Landon there.
Landon there,
Yeah.
quarterback, but
Running. Oh,
you want to have a running back, right?
yeah. Look at that. Got the East Providence baseball coach calling me. Maybe he had a question about DHing. You can have a special DH in baseball. You can be your pitcher can DH for himself.
Oh, really?
So when the pitcher's done pitching, he can still hit because whoever you put in is getting DH for. I think he has a question about that. I'll answer it after. But going back to
Are you on a board or something?
No, no, I'm not. But after all those battles we've had with East Providence, he used to play in the Twilight League here in Westerly too. So
yeah, you did tell me.
yeah,
That to me, yeah.
Bobby Roderick used to play here. But going back to your football question there with running back, so we got Sam Farrell ended the season as our running back last year. He's back as a junior. He'll be in the mix. Dan Cummings is a great athlete, obviously a receiver last year, but we're going to move him around and, use him as much as possible. And you're going to see him in the backfield a little bit, along with being wide receiver still. And then, it's really open, whoever can do it, whoever we see in practice. And I know there's a freshman eighth grade running back that's looking pretty good that, you never know. Could get some time. I'm never afraid of playing freshmen if they're the best guy we got. I've played a lot of freshmen in football and baseball over the years, so I'm not afraid to play young guys if that's who we have and that's the best. But there's a lot of possibilities, and we'll figure it out. Same thing with offensive line. You got a couple question marks on the offensive line, but we always find somebody, and they always get the job done. Throughout the years, there's always question marks trying to fill in who's going to be our tackle, the left tackle, who's going to be our guard. And, in the off season, you're looking around and, there's, it looks a little thin at first, but then once you get to the season, other kids lift in the weight room, they get bigger, they get stronger. It's a year more of growing. And, us as coaches have to do our job and get them ready. And, we always get somebody ready to play offensive line and fill our spots. So we should be fine. And, I'm looking forward to that season once baseball season's over. So, we're looking to have a championship season, and it started a long time ago after Thanksgiving when we started lifting as a team. So, they've been lifting 3 days a week through this whole off season, and once we get into mid to late June, we can start doing our summer practices a couple times a week and getting the basics down and just getting everybody on the same page and ready to go full steam ahead on August 16th. I think we start.
Yeah. So it's exciting rooting for the baseball guys, and but it's also exciting rooting for the football guys. And you're in Division I in baseball.
Yep.
And that's quite the. But you're in Division II in football, but it seems to be this could be our year this year, and we're going to try to make sure we hold your feet to the fire right now, Ron.
Yeah.
And Ken is out there. Make sure you give him the roster. So, and of course we've got we've got a friend across town here. His son is can be a good receiver, Chubb, and we. Hopefully Chubb is coming back. We want all these kids coming back with good attitudes. Chubb always seems to have a good attitude, and we'll go from there. And then we've got Cummings, and we've got Caleb Williams. Man, it seems like Caleb's been there forever, but he's,
he
done well.
Yeah, and with our small roster, you get a lot of opportunities early to play. So
that's unbelievable.
If you have an opportunity to play as a freshman And some of the kids are good enough and mature enough to get varsity time as a freshman, and they're just getting better and better. And I expect a huge season out of him. And I think he's really excited because he's making the move defensively to defensive end. So he's gonna.
Yeah.
I think he really likes that. Likes the idea. And Mike Contrari does a great job at coaching the defensive line. And
one of my all-time favorites.
And one of his best works was the basketball guy there from a couple of years ago. I just had his name in my head and I totally forgot. But he's basketball, not Hamlin, but the other one with him. But he played football for the first time as a senior, and he ended up being one of our best defensive ends. Unfortunately, he was sick for that Burrillville playoff game and didn't play.
Who the heck was that?
Samo, Jesse Samo.
Jesse Samo.
So for not playing at all of any football and then being our starter defensive end, shows you how great of a coach Mike Contrari is, and he's going to do a great job with Caleb, and you might see Chubb Hill there on the defensive line as well. He was our linebacker the last couple of years, one of our linebackers. But depending on if we can get more depth at linebacker and can use him on the defensive line a little bit, because he loves going with the defensive line, because we'll send our linebackers with Mike occasionally to work on their pass rush. And, he loves it over there. So whether he's a linebacker or, interior defensive lineman, Chubb's going to have a great season too.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see him, especially at tight end too. We have all our receivers back, our tight ends back. The only spots we have question marks are on the old line. But we have an idea of what's going to go on there. And then, Sam's ready to be our running back, and Dan will be there a little bit, and it could be a running back by committee, but we got great athletes. I think we'll be fine.
I'm looking forward to seeing that first game on 321 Media. I don't know how many people are going to actually go up there, but if I can get up there, I'll make. It should be quite a. Now I wonder if they're going to broadcast that. Are you guys actually going to stay up there
for what? Baseball?
No,
or
for
football.
football.
Oh, for Situate?
Yeah.
So the game's at 7:00. We're gonna leave pretty early because there's definitely going to be some traffic to the Boston, because it's just southeast of Boston. So there's probably going to be, especially on a Friday night, there's going to be tons of traffic. So we're going to try to leave real early, get up there real early. We're not staying up there. We're going to probably not get home until like 11 o'clock, but I'll go maybe even later, but I'll give probably later than that. The game will probably 11:30 midnight. We'll probably get home, but we'll definitely give them the weekend off. We're not going to have practice on Saturday after that. And then, we have the non-league game the following week against Ram. That won't count, because in football, you can play 9 games, but only 8 of them count. So one of them has to be non-league. So, and that's going to be the Ram game after Situate.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a long day that Friday, but it should be exciting. It's something brand new. We've never gone on a road trip 2 hours away, playing another powerhouse from another state. So it's almost like a smaller version of when you're watching those high school games on ESPN, when it's when like you have like a team from Florida playing.
I can't wait.
Playing a Virginia team.
I'm excited.
Like that, so
I'm excited, Ron.
I don't know if it's going to happen. I got to try to talk Ben into.
Ben, did you hear that?
They're going to have to pay some whoever's doing the announcing some mileage time, because it's going to be a long trip. But
jeez.
But Situate would probably not have any problem with that game being streamed. So it could happen. I would do it. It's 2 strong teams from Massachusetts or Rhode Island. You don't get that very often. It could be on 3-2-1. You never know. Hopefully it will be.
Hopefully it will be. Anyway, what else?
Hey, Andrew.
What else you got? Hey, Andrew, what you doing, buddy? Morning, Sal. Hey, morning, Andrew. Yeah. What Andrew Fiore, come over and say hello to come and say hello to the people. I don't know whether you're allowed, but
of course, it's good to see you, Sal. Good to see you.
Andrew. Don't say hello to.
How you doing?
What's
Andrew?
up,
How you doing?
Coach?
Good seeing you, man.
You getting revved up for baseball season?
Oh yeah, we're doing really well right now, and we play Charahoe tonight. Hopefully the field's dry.
Yeah. What's your record?
So we're 11-4 right now. We've won 9 in a row. We're in Division I, so we're doing really well. Just as good or better than I expected. So
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
They played a game at one of your old stomping grounds
Yeah.
last week.
Really? That's right. That was right here on 321
Yeah,
Media, wasn't it?
Yeah, played NFA and won it in the 7th. That was exciting.
Oh, that must have been cool playing at those facilities.
Yeah, it was great. It was, I hadn't been there since they were Navigators in like the late '90s, so it was great being back at that stadium as coaching and seeing some of the parts of that stadium still look kind of old and
Yeah.
but it's a great place though. Yeah, love it. I love the the sound. We had a pretty decent sized crowd, but it's loud in there. It makes the place even sound like it's even more crowded. So with the echoing and all that because of the stadium look. So yeah, it was a great experience for the players.
Well, I'll say this: the city of Norwich is having some meetings about selling it. So get to those town meetings because it's a great place. Again, you said it. I used to work there.
Yeah.
And I miss it so much, and I think it's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
They should get more Westerly games there.
Oh, I know. Like we should play all our Connecticut teams there. We play a bunch of ECC teams, so try to play as many there as possible.
Stonington.
Yeah.
Waterford.
NFA. Waterford.
Yeah, those four. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get East Lyme. East Lyme's they won the
They're
ECC.
tough.
I think they won either lost in the state championship last year or won it, and they're a good team. I wouldn't mind playing them either.
They did play
So.
somebody from Rhode Island.
North Kingston, I think, or South Kingston, one of them.
Kingston, yeah. North Kingston beat
Beat Hendricken. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was a big win for them, and right after we beat them, so we beat North Kingston, and then North Kingston beat Hendricken. So
Well, nice to see you, buddy.
Great
I
seeing
know
you,
gotta
Sal.
work. I think you got to go to work.
Yes, I do. I need to go grab some equipment.
All
yeah,
right.
all right, good seeing you.
All right. Andrew Fiore.
Yeah.
Dual roles.
Yeah,
All right. All right, Ron. I think we are.
yeah.
We kind of got to hit the road here, and I just want to. Let's see what's next weekend. You're okay. So let's go over it again. Tonight, right? Not tonight. Yeah, Charahoe, right? Then
Yeah.
you've got the Monday night.
Monday we got a tough one at South Kingston, Old Mountain Field, and Wakefield. That's our last away game of the regular season, and then we have our makeup game with Smithfield on Tuesday,
Right.
and then we're off until Monday. We play South Kingston again, which 2 games against them. If we could, obviously we want to win at least one of them. It would be great to win both. But when you're beating them, you get a ton of power points because they're in second place. They have, I think, 12, 13 wins right now.
South
And
Kingston.
so they're in second place in Division One, right behind Hendricken. So we have we have a tough schedule to end the season. We got 2 with South Kingston, 1 with Hendricken. So we're playing the top 2 teams 3 times. Plus you got a 13-4 Stonington team. You got a solid Smithfield team who is around 500. I think they're 6-7. And then you have Jarrow, who's doing very well in Division 2. And you get paired with Carpenter or Sumner. Charahoe can play with anybody, and so we'll see who they're pitching tonight. If it's Carpenter, it's going to be a great game.
That's Charahoe, right?
Yeah, yep.
Now he's going to
URI.
URI.
Yep.
Oh wow.
So, it'll be we'll see. Tom's gonna, he's been very consistent for us.
Tom Fiore pitching.
Yeah.
Pitching. Yep. Tom's either grandfather or great grandfather, and my grandmother were brother and sister. Can you believe that, Ron? That's Westerly for you. It's Fiore. Well, Jim Moreno was his cousin.
Oh yeah, and the thing with Fiore's too, I started coaching the middle school in 2005 or 6, and 2006, and they I feel like I've had a Fiore on every single team I've coached because a couple of who was it? It was because I also coached Nick and Mike in middle school, but I also got them in high school as well.
Oh my!
And then the younger brother Tom I've had through high school too. So I've coached them all, but I've also coached Nick and Mike in middle school. So I had those 2 in middle school and high school. And now I have Tom. I feel like I'm pretty sure if I go through all those years, I probably have one of those Fiores are probably on one of my teams every single year.
Eric Rube had a big write up about, I think it was Nick. Who was the second baseman? Who was the second baseman?
That was
won
Nick.
the championship.
Yeah, that great picture.
The great picture
that
of
was Nick
making that catch
with his hair.
Yeah. It was unbelievable, really. So anyway, hey, it's about 20 after 9. I think we all got to do some stuff today. And listen, we want to make sure we wish all of our mothers a happy Mother's Day tomorrow, and it should be a beautiful day tomorrow. And if you're not celebrating your mother, then get up and get your dad or one of your coaches to throw some balls to you. That way, when Monday night comes, you'll not hopefully, but you will have beaten Charahoe, and then you got to play against let's see, Smithfield. I think. Anyway, Ron, I just want to say thank you, and you'll see us again. You'll hear Ron and I again next Saturday because he doesn't have anything to do next Saturday, right?
Right. Yeah. As long as there's no rainouts or anything, we got nothing. We're off after Tuesday. We don't have anything to the following Monday.
Yeah.
But then it ramps up because we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think the playoffs are supposed to start on that Friday. So it's a 4-game week. So we have to do our pitching very wisely. So the following Monday, I think Chase is pitching, but he can't pitch a ton because he's got to pitch Friday.
Yeah.
So the first game of the playoffs is going to be Chase pitching, not Mike, because Mike is pitching against Bishop Henrique on Tuesday, and he won't be ready for that playoff game. So,
all right.
But yeah, we'll see you tonight, and we'll have a great game against Charo.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
that's right, Charo. That's from the Charahoe. Yes. And I wish I had known there was donuts in there.
Yeah, no, right?
They never told. Is there coffee in there? Oh, all right. Just donuts. All right. No, I just need coffee.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is fun today. It's kind of we're out of our element, but we'll be back in our element next. Like you said, with the weather permitting. But our new element is going to be at Rios Barbershop.
Yeah.
We're going to be at Rios from here in for a while. And we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll go well. And I think it's Carlos. Is it Carlos?
Carlos, yeah, we can get him on for a few minutes too, because he's one of my volunteer football coaches, and I'm sure he'll, like to talk.
Oh, he doesn't like to talk, does he?
Yeah.
I love Carlos. Good guy. All right. Take it away, guys.
All right, all set.
Touchdown, Wesley!
A chance for the Chargers, and they score!
In the front, Fuzzy again!